What's going on, everyone? It's been a while since I did one of these kind of expanded videos on sharing my thoughts for those of you out there who are job seekers. Just wanted to share a quick, my quick thoughts on this thing that I've been seeing. I've been seeing and hearing about this video going viral on TikTok. Apparently, it's I'm not going to mention who it is because it's bad advice. I don't want to encourage you folks to follow this group, but apparently they're saying that. There's this resume hack where if you copy and paste the job description, minimize it, put in the smallest font, make it in white font so it camouflages into the background, and then paste it on, right at the end of your resume, it's gonna make your resume more ATS friendly, right? So I just wanted to share my quick thoughts on why this is a bad idea. Do not do this. It's bad advice. It's terrible advice. And people who give this advice obviously know nothing about how ATS platforms work and have never used an ATS themselves and have never recruited themselves as well. Before I do that, make sure you hit subscribe and make sure you follow my channel. I'm constantly putting out new job search related tips, advice, and strategies. And of course, you'll be notified when I have more exciting guests on my podcast. Now, the reason why you don't want to do this is, and by the way, this is not just me. I'm sure most recruiters out there will agree with this, that it's just a terrible practice for you to do. Firstly, it reeks of desperation, right? I mean, what would cause someone, like put yourself in the recruiter's shoes, right? I mean, what would cause a job applicant to copy and paste the job description, minimize it into the smallest font possible, and then post it on, make the font white so it's camouflage, and then shrink it and then put it right at the end of the resume. Like, it just reeks of desperation, right? And there's a definite difference between showing high level of interest, right? It's different when you're showing interest, enthusiasm for a role, right? You want to show that interest, that enthusiasm for sure. But then the other extreme is complete, pure desperation. And that's what this communicates when the recruiter, and most probably the recruiter will find out that you did this on the resume. I'm going to get into that shortly, how they're going to be able to find that out. But this tactic would fall under extreme act of desperation, and that's definitely not something you want to convey to the recruiter. You want to convey high levels of interest and enthusiasm for the role. Second thing is, and this is what I kind of alluded to in the first point, the second thing is the recruiter will most probably be able to find out that you did this, especially if they are taking some extra time to actually download your resume, whether it's in Word format or PDF format. And this is something most recruiters do when we're reading the resume as a doc file or a PDF, is we want to focus on those parts most relevant for the role, right? So let's say I'm reviewing a resume and the key skill set is, for someone to be a JavaScript developer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the Word document or the PDF open. I'm going to hit Control F, or if I'm using a Mac, in my case, Command F, and I'm going to type in the keyword JavaScript, right? Because you know how you can search for specific words within the document. So that's what we do, right? When we have the document open, we're going to do that. And then we're going to just, focus on reading specifically the sections that mention JavaScript, right? Now, you can already probably see how this will reveal your tactic of shrinking the job description and all that, because we're going to keep, hitting next after we read those various sections. And we're eventually going to come across the section that you have minimized and shrunk and put in white font on the resume, and it's going to be found out. Right? And this is something someone who has not worked in recruitment will not know, right? And again, eventually we're going to come across this. And again, we're going to be like, what's going to make someone so desperate to do that? Like, and which brings me to the third reason why this is a bad idea. The third reason why you shouldn't do this, it brings your entire resume into question now, right? Think about it, folks. If you're going through, that much, those lengths in order to copy and paste the job description so you can increase your resume getting found, small font, white font, so it's camouflaged. I mean, then as a recruiter, I'm thinking, okay, so if they're going to adapt those lengths in order to do that and increase their chance of their resume getting found, what else on their resume is there simply out of desperation that might not even be true, right? And what I can tell you folks is most recruiters are not even going to take the time to even try to figure that out, myself included. I don't have time I'm not Sherlock Holmes, folks, right? I'm just going to move on to the next resume, because this resume that I'm reading, if I find out that that's been done, again, reason number one, reeks of desperation. Reason number two, I found out that that's what's been done on the resume. And the third thing is, now the whole entire resume is called into question. Is everything on this resume even true, or is it just on there to make it more keyword rich, right? And I'm just not going to bother investigating that. I'm just going to move on to the next candidate, right? I'm going to move on to the next application, the next resume, whatever. move on to something else. That's the easiest thing for a recruiter to do. So look, just remember, just because something goes viral on social media, right? And you know, there's a ton of great advice there. There's definitely some viral stuff on social media that does make sense, that you can apply to your job search, that is practical and pragmatic. But that should not be the you know, the kind of the measuring stick that helps you decide whether something makes sense or whether something is practical and or even applies to your job search, right? Just because something goes viral on social media does not mean it's good advice or even a reflection of the truth. And this video going viral on TikTok, providing this terrible piece of advice, I mean, it's just sad, right? And it's definitely a perfect example of this being the case, right? So just you know, be cognizant of this, folks. And again, investigate when you're given advice by anyone, not just social media, just anyone in general. Always investigate whether they are indeed qualified to give the advice, either through experience working in the field or you know, basically who the person is, right? Who the person is, what's their background, are they qualified to give you that advice, right? So look, make sure you, by the way, make sure you check me out on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. Right here, I go live every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. And that's part of the reason why I do that, right? So because I know a lot of you have job search questions and inquiries and situations you got going on, and you might want a recruiter's perspective. So that's why every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, I do my live stream every week. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tune in. I talk about a job search topic every live stream, and then I go into the comments and I respond to all of your questions. All right. So look, I hope today's video helps. I hope you have not you're not applying this whole viral, you know, BS that's going around on your resume. But if you have, you know, just don't do that. Not a good practice. Do not recommend it. And you know, just investigate in the future, folks, before you take anyone's advice. All right, including myself. So you should research me, investigate me before you take any advice that I provide. All right. So I'll drop a link to all my social links in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you around next time.